shocking. They have they have passed out flyers reminding people to make sure that your neighbors, your friends, your family do not work on their vehicles without a license because it's bad for the environment and other tedious crap like that. But that's the least of it. In addition to that, they've also decided that what was it? They've criminalized homelessness and existence and poverty to the extent that you're not allowed in the state of California to live in an RV any longer, which is extremely hostile to both tourism and to just poor people in general who may not be able to afford something. I've lived in an RV before. I'm not super happy about it, but I did. And then you have what about trailers? Are they acceptable? The whole thing is a mess, and it's not very surprisingly for California. Good Lord. Sorry about that. Trying to get all of this worked out. I arrived in the studio a little bit late, but thought I had everything under control, and evidently did not. Anyway, coming out of California, I'm trying to pull up this flyer now. The idea is that, I guess home mechanics working on their own cars or things like that may leak out oil or gasoline or something, or antifreeze even. And of course, if you've ever worked on a home vehicle, then you need to be careful with things like that. I mean, especially antifreeze, and I wouldn't say it's really because, it's bad for the environment, but because it smells sweet to cats and dogs, and they will drink it, and it will kill them. And nobody wants that to happen. But regulations from the government is not the way to go about doing that. I mean, I think one person even said, if you see something, say something. Like if you see your neighbor working on his car in his driveway and he doesn't have a license, call the police on them. That sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Is brotherly policing, I guess. But it's the whole idea of snitching on your neighbors is so Orwellian that when it's carried to that extent, everybody becomes their own prison guard because everybody is everyone else's prison guards. And that's dangerous. We don't need a world where everybody is constantly watching everybody else and waiting for them to slip up so that they can call the police and get some bonus points with the authorities. That's the last thing we need. We need to be able to be free without being worried about the police coming and hassling us. And in order for that to happen, we have to be free from having to worry about our neighbors alerting the police. In other interesting news, we're not done with this. Americans own 46% of all guns, which, that is awesome. That's an awesome statistic. I'm proud of that. The remaining is probably owned by the UN or someone like that. But apparently there are 1 billion guns in the world, and Americans own 46% of them. So we're going to get into that as well. We're also going to get into, the crypto mecca that is Keen and the fallacious arguments that cryptocurrencies are not currencies, that they're assets meant to be held and meant to increase in value, because I have a receipt right here from where I spent cryptocurrencies buying things, which kind of should disabuse people of the notion that cryptocurrencies aren't currencies, because we've gone back and forth over that so many times with various callers and guests who say, well, you still have to get fiat involved at some point. In a lot of cases, that's true, but it's not necessarily true. It's not true here. And ideally, the only reason it's not true here is because of the awesome, wonderful activism of people on the ground who have actually gone out and attempted to get local businesses to accept cryptocurrencies as payments. And they've been successful with that. There is no reason that you couldn't do it in your own area. In fact, when I ran my IT firm in the state of Mississippi, one of the initiatives that I was undertaking was an attempt to get companies to accept cryptocurrencies. It fell on its face because so few people used cryptocurrencies, so it's kind of a self-perpetuating problem. You know, if ordinary people don't even have cryptocurrencies to spend, then you don't really have a whole lot to offer businesses learning how to use them and learning how to accept them and integrating it into their system. I mean, why would they want to pay me, $750 to set up the system where they can accept cryptocurrencies when the reality is that maybe one person every 6 months will come in and make a $50 purchase using Bitcoin? It's not economically feasible. But that's Mississippi. That's an unusual circumstance in itself. Then you have places like Florida, Memphis, Tennessee. I was more successful in Memphis. California, well, maybe not California because of its overbearing regulations, as we're going to talk about when we get back from the break. But there are so many opportunities to get cryptocurrencies out there. And I think that failure to do that is the reason why cryptocurrencies continue to go down and continue to hover at the values they are at instead of increasing. Because as I've said before, it was our enthusiasm. It was our talking about it on Facebook and Twitter and WordPress and all of these other places just constantly that drove the price of Bitcoin up to $20,000 in the first place, that drove Ethereum up to $600 and Litecoin up to $300, because we were talking about these things constantly. And then they started collapsing. And now when it gets back up to $10,000, we're not going to be back on Facebook talking about like, oh my goodness, look how awesome, look how much money we're making, because we don't feel like we're making money. We still feel like, oh, well, been there, done that. I'm still down from $20,000. So it's going to be a very, very long time before that enthusiasm returns and before we really see cryptocurrency prices continue to go up. But that makes it the perfect time to buy them.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, excellent. All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from the Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we have finally worked out a solution to the not having Tom thing, and he's going to call the studio line. In the meantime, let's talk about Arvin Vohra, because I love Arvin Vohra, and he's given us the perfect reason to talk about him. And that is that he has made headlines at Bitcoin.com and a number of other places by promising to pardon Edward Snowden and Ross Ulbricht. Now, I hope you remember who Ross Ulbricht is. We talk about him quite a lot here on the show, and most of the commercials actually feature Ross Ulbricht and his story and how he was sentenced to life without parole. 2 life sentences without parole for making a website that made the world a safer place. And that's disgusting. There is no greater evidence that our government is out of control, in fact, than the reality that he made. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, you got me now?
Yep, I do.
Oh, wow, this is weird.
Yeah. Tom,
being on the radio line and everything.
Yeah, Tom has called into our radio line because for some reason the software that we ordinarily use does not seem to be passing through the mixer board. So, welcome.
This is going to be quite an adventure too, because I'm normally on push to talk so that my wonderful children are not constantly interrupting our attempt to do a horrible radio show. So today, we're there at the pool right now, but when they get back, woo boy, this is going to be fun.
Well,
bear with us, everybody.
Well, our producer Ian will hopefully be back in the studio by then, and he can help me figure out what is going on over here.
He'd better. The holiday's over. Get back to work.
Right.
And what do we pay you for? Well, I mean, we don't pay him anything, but So
how are
talking
you,
about
Tom?
Arvin? What did Arvin do this time?
He had promised that if he wins the presidential election, he will pardon Edward Snowden and Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah, that's pretty milquetoasty by Arvin standards, isn't it?
It is, but it's got people talking, and that's wonderful. You know, it's got people discussing this.
He is good at that.
It's got people aware of Arvin's existence.
Okay, so I am.
I mean, he was running
sorry, I'm pretty familiar with Snowden's case, but I gather that you and other people in the Liberty Movement would know a lot more about the particulars of Ross Ulbricht's situation than I would. Because from what I can tell, it seems like the dude was basically running a piracy website and got caught by the feds.
Well, no, it was not a piracy website. It was the Silk Road. You know, it was Amazon in a sense, or eBay would be more appropriate, except for any good or service that you wanted to sell. It was as free market as the free market can get. And he was served 2 life sentences because some people were using that website to sell drugs and, you know, hitmen and fake IDs and stuff. But you know,
well, the hitman, that seems to be an issue. Did they not have like terms of service or anything he could hide behind?
Yeah, you know, I think he did. I think the website did actually shut down the hitman services and things like that when they appeared. And I may be incorrect in that those particular services never actually appeared on Silk Road, but I never used Silk Road, so I can't say for certain. But
so Arvin's throwing around pardons for these two. What are
and for every nonviolent drug offender and every person in prison or in jail without any violent convictions.
Oh, this is a kinder, gentler Arvin, to say the least. I mean, we're letting people out of jail now instead of throwing teachers in.
I mean, that's exactly what people are saying about him on Facebook and Twitter. Like, hey, this Arvin that we're seeing now would have kept the vice chair slot. And I'm like, this is the exact same Arvin that it was a month ago. The only difference is he's not triggering you now. He's talking about issues that you already agree with. So it's easy for you to say, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. But anybody who's ever listened to Arvin would have known that if he became president, he would immediately pardon these people. Because that's Arvin. That's what he does.
It's almost like people are surprised that someone running for public office would only talk about things people agree with them on.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, if there is one criticism of this new, kinder, gentler Arvin, it's that it's kinder and gentler for too obvious of a purpose. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. He's not kinder and gentler, though. I mean, it's just he mentioned this one issue, so everybody suddenly has changed their opinions of him. They're interpreting him as kinder and gentler when it's the exact same Arvin that it's always been.
It's a different face, though. I understand what the criticism is.
I mean, give him another few weeks, and he'll be like, you know, let's shoot the school boards again.
Yeah, when that Arvin comes back, then the beef will be gone with the idea that this is a kinder, gentler Arvin. So we'll wait around and see if we get to that point, because you know the big plus that you and some of the other audacious types always sold on Arvin was his willingness to put the balls to the wall, uncomfortable side of libertarianism out there, but if he is suddenly dropping that because it serves his newer purpose, well, that certainly speaks to the authenticity or lack thereof of his original tactics. Call that harsh, but that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I mean, he's running for president. He's going to talk about more issues than just the ones he personally cares about, which is what he did as the vice chair. I mean, yeah, he would probably rather talk about education and things like that 24/7. But, he's running for a public office. Other people don't want to hear him talk about just education. He's not going to be a single issue candidate. So he's going to more regularly express opinions on other things which people will agree with, so he will trigger them less frequently. But all of it is still there. Same old Arvin, I would say. But we'll be back shortly to continue this discussion.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, where we have finally worked out the audio issues, and we are joined remotely. I am Aria DiMezzo. I always forget that. And we are joined remotely by Tom Gray from the mountains of East Tennessee. And
poor Aria always forgets who she is.
I do.
I have that effect on women. Oh, no, wait. women are usually trying to forget who I am. That's different.
Well, there is some local news that I would actually like to talk about, and I think that Tom may be able to shed some insight into it. Brought to us by New Hampshire Public Radio, a family vacationing in New Hampshire is reeling after arrest at checkpoint 90 miles from the border. Now, as we discussed during PorcFest, the state of New Hampshire has actually passed a law where it is illegal for the New Hampshire State Police to assist ICE at all. But coming to us from NHPR is Victoria is 23 and working her way through college. Over Memorial Day weekend, she and her parents piled into the car and drove from New York for a vacation in the north of New Hampshire. Hanging out at the hotel, taking a ride on the COG railway, that kind of thing. I mean, it was just a nice getaway to go with my parents because, you know, when I'm older, I can't really spend time with them, Victoria says. And I also brought my dog, blah, blah, blah. Victoria, her mom, dad, and pet Shih Tzu made it to the White Mountains without incident. But as they were going back home, they noticed traffic slowing down on the highway near Woodstock. They made it so no one could actually turn around, Victoria says. Isn't that standard practice for checkpoints, Tom?
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it illegal for them to do that? I know in the state of Tennessee they have to give you a chance to turn around. I think it's a half a mile away from the checkpoint. And of course they'll chase you down if you do it, but legally they do have to have a turnaround for you.
That's more for the emergency vehicles than for you, as far as what they're required to set up. Now, the warning you get in Tennessee is the publication thing. So, by the way, if you ever see somebody complain, well, they shouldn't publish the locations of all those checkpoints every weekend when they have them. The reason that they do it is so that when they get into court, they can claim that you consented to the search because everybody knew that there was going to be a checkpoint and you drove down that road anyway. So they actually don't do it for you. They do it for themselves. Right. Anyway, continue.
Well, her parents, Mr. Park and Miss Lee, don't have legal immigration status after coming to the U.S. from South Korea. NHPR is not using the family's full names, of course. When they reached the Border Patrol officer, Park and Lee declined to answer questions about their citizenship. They were asked to pull over to the side. Victoria came to the U.S. when she was 4 years old, she says, and is currently protected from deportation because she's a recipient of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Programs, or DACA. She told them that, but it didn't seem to matter. They were kind of dismissing my DACA status, saying, oh, that has nothing to do with your status, says Victoria, like, you're coming with us. Victoria's parents were arrested, but Victoria was let go and made the drive back to New York with her dog. NHPR adds, alone, but she was not alone, she had her dog.
Very important to you to point that out, apparently.
Well, I mean, it is. I reject the notion that non-human animals shouldn't be treated or should be treated as lesser creatures than humans. I'm not alone when my cats are with me. I have my cats with me. Anyway, I was just worried, like, what if they're going to hurt my parents? What if this is the last time I'm going to see my parents and I didn't even get to say goodbye? Victoria wondered. It kind of felt like she and her family were caught in a trap. She had no idea immigration officers could do this kind of thing. How does she not have any idea? It's been all over the news for a year and a half.
Doesn't she live in America?
Right?
Police officers can do everything here.
Because, that's something I would suspect if we were down south, like near the southern border, but we didn't even think about the Canadian border. Well, I mean, I'm not excusing what happened to her or apologizing for what happened to her because it's horrific and unacceptable. But yeah, it's 100 miles from any border. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Under a Department of Justice rule, the Border Patrol is allowed to conduct these checkpoints 100 miles from a border, and they have been since 1953. And according to someone we had on the show with us recently, that covers about 2/3 of the country's population.
Yep, because it includes water borders.
Oh.
And because significantly fewer people live in the inland than in the closer to water parts of the country. If you've ever studied geography, you understand why. It's because we kind of need water to live.
So like all of Florida then, right?
Yup. All of it.
And a healthy chunk of almost every single state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe Oklahoma would be without any sort of checkpoints. Or Arkansas, perhaps, but that would be it. That's terrifying.
It is, isn't it? But it should be. Let me have a quick look while you finish reading the story, and I'll let everybody know where in the country you can be that rule doesn't even apply.
All right. Well, after their arrest in the White Mountains, Victoria's parents, Park and Lee, were taken to the Stratford County Department of Corrections in Dover. The county has a contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement to provide up to 130 beds for detainees. On June 22nd, 121 beds were occupied. Now, given the status of New Hampshire, right, and our reputation as being so pro-liberty, why are 121 beds occupied with detainees? Jail Superintendent Chris Brackett says ICE doesn't tell him how many of those detainees are coming from Border Patrol checkpoints, but one thing is clear. Primarily, we have seen an increase in ICE population, Brackett says. It goes on for a while, not being very interesting. After their arrest in Woodstock, Park and Lee were eventually taken to federal offices in Burlington, Massachusetts. In the parking lot, immigration attorney Sang-Yeob Kim and I discussed the couple's case. Kim got word that they were being held in prison and offered to act as their pro bono attorney. Good on you, Kim. In this case, there was no criminal issue at all. Kim submitted letters from their church and their daughter to convince the judge that they were not a danger if they were let out of jail. Park and Lee posted a total of $9,000 bail, and a judge agreed to their release. $9,000 for doing nothing wrong, for being in the wrong part of the country when there was a checkpoint.
Sounds about right, or rather about wrong.
After first going to the Dover jail with his wife, they were split up, and he went to a detention facility in Massachusetts. We couldn't see each other for 23 days. He now tears up when asked about how he feels about being reunited with his wife. This is horrific, and this happened here in New Hampshire. You know, just New Hampshire's small, so it couldn't have been more than 100 miles away from here. And these people were arrested, detained, assaulted, separated from each other for breaking the laws, for being in the wrong place at the wrong time when the government decided, hey, it's time to arrest some people.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
You blow up a hospital, you're in violation of international humanitarian law. You are in violation of the law of war. From the military, quote, every violation of the law of war is a war crime. And I've had people jump on me for saying that blowing up a hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan, that was being operated by Doctors Without Borders, I've had people jump on me for saying that's a war crime. Damn right it's a war crime. You blew up a hospital. I think every person, from the guy flying the airplane, to the guy that gave the order, to the guy above him, all the way up to Barack Obama, need to be held accountable for their war crime. And I'm not going to shut up about this until something happens.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
That's for 6.
That's right. Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, where we are broadcasting live from the Zencast studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. And joined via remote is Tom Gray, our legal mind, broadcasting from East Tennessee. Finally have everything 100% set up correctly. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, your legal mind who is unfortunately engaged with someone who thinks that I'm an agent of a foreign government because my business cards say Esquire on them.
What?
Yeah, it's one of those weird conspiracy theories about lawyers that...
Who are you engaged to?
not engaged with. I'm not engaged to anyone. I mean, I'm married to my wife.
Well, yeah, I was confused, but
no, it was just stupid internet argument. You run into these every once in a while, unfortunately, and they do tend to hang around liberty circles. But it's just people who think all lawyers are part of some great Illuminati. I mean, here's the deal: Esquire is not a real title. Like, well,
it is not. Anybody can call themselves that, but only
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why lawyers do it. It's like we can't call ourselves doctors, even though we have a Juris Doctorate. We can't call ourselves, the honorable anything unless we're a judge, but we needed something for the business card. So there sat the term Esquire on the scrap heap of history, and we were just like, yeah, we'll go with that. But there are people who think that that's some sort of foreign emolument, and...
Well, there are a lot of conspiracy theorists among the libertarian community.
Yeah, I usually like the ones who are right, though. Because the thing about conspiracy theories is just because it's a conspiracy doesn't mean it's not also true.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I thought you said we couldn't play audio.
We can now. So,
well, there we go.
I said I didn't know how, but yeah. I mean, other things were running at the time that I tried to do it last time, but yeah, it's good now.
Well, then,
but Alex Jones actually has a point, because we did find out. I don't know about gay frogs, but we actually did find out that the birth control and things like that were flushing into the sewer systems is getting into oceans and rivers, and it actually is making fish trans.
Well, then.
Yeah.
Wasn't about fish, but it was about frogs in Jurassic Park? Or reptiles, like...
well, there is a certain type...
production?
Well, frogs are amphibians, but there is a certain type of frog that will change its sex based on its environment.
And it was amphibians in Jurassic Park, too, because it was... now I can very clearly remember... what's his name? The main guy from Jurassic Park. But
Ian.
I remember him going... No,
Dr. Grant.
Yeah, Dr.
No, he
Grant.
He was only the main guy in
Dr.
the movies.
Dr. Grant was the chick. That was
Dr. Grant was the dude.
No, Ellie Grant was the Oh, you're right. Ellie was like Ellie Sadler or something. Yeah, Dr. Grant going amphibian DNA. And that's how the dinosaurs reproduced in Jurassic Park. So yeah, it's not unheard of in nature for animals to be transgender. And it probably wouldn't take a whole lot for them to turn that way so that they could continue to reproduce after we destroyed their normal abilities to do so. But that's different from turning the frogs gay.
Not funny! I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay frogs!
I love that. Oh my God. He is so angry about those gay frogs.
He's gotten issues.
He used to do great work. He did.
His blood pressure's got to be like 350 over 200 every time he goes on the radio.
Well, have you heard the conspiracy theory that he is Bill Hicks?
Which Bill Hicks?
The comedian. The one who died back in like 97. The really intelligent Life is Just a Ride comedian.
I'm looking at pictures of Bill Hicks now, and I can kind of see it.
Yeah, they do resemble each other. And apparently Alex Jones's, I guess if you want to call it a career, got going at about the same time that Hicks died. But there would be no reason for it. I mean, Hicks was not a lunatic, first of all.
Plus, he had cancer.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do a fake death come back as a radio host, it's usually something big and dramatic, like driving a car off a cliff or being poisoned by the Russians. Cancer is a really hard death to fake. God, did that just come out of my mouth on national radio?
I love Bill Hicks, so I do.
I haven't actually contemplated faking one's death due to cancer. I just assume it's a hard death to fake.
Well, yeah, because it leaves quite a long paper trail of medical records and things like that.
So don't write us letters, guys. Or if you're going to write us letters, use small words, because I don't want to have to do any actual work to read your letters.
Yeah. And keep in mind that like 90% of the things we say here is just talking out of our butts, making it up as we go.
90? That's being generous.
Well, it's bad to, admit on the air that everything, 100% of it, is just made up as we go.
Yeah, we're only slightly full of crap. Not nearly as full of crap as we'd ever admit. Anyway, we were talking about something. We were talking about Alex Jones and conspiracy theories and how this guy thinks because I have Esquire on my business cards that I'm a foreign agent, and somewhere in there, the border. Because I found a map via the ACLU, because we talked about border checkpoints, how the law, as it currently stands, allows ICE to set up border checkpoints anywhere within 100 miles of a United States border. For reference, that encompasses all of the state of Florida, most of the state of New York, all of Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, sorry, Aria, and Vermont, a good chunk of Pennsylvania, and then, of course, most of the East Coast, all the way inward to Charlottesville, Richmond, part of West Virginia. It encompasses most of the populated parts of California. It encompasses all of Hawaii. As far as major metros, New Orleans, Houston, San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Santa Cruz, Portland and Seattle, Chicago, because Chicago borders one of the Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are technically a national border. All of Wisconsin, if you go to Wisconsin, if you go to Michigan, you can be picked up by ICE. However, here in Tennessee, apparently not within 100 miles of a border. The downside, you'd have to be in Tennessee. And that's sort of the issue, is that most of the places that people would want to live in the United States, ICE has this plenary jurisdiction over. And that is, of course, intentional.
And that's only until they figure out how to word it to include the Mississippi River.
Yeah, you know how people are always, there's that meme that always goes around that's like, yeah, we should take a big chunk out of Nebraska and turn it into the new Israel because there's plenty of room there, and the United States is the only people who wants that country anywhere near their junk anyway. Well, if you did that, then you're talking about a new border right smack dab in the middle of the country.
What about Native American reservations? Do they count as foreign?
It's not shown on this map, but give them a test case, and I bet you'll find out that the courts would let them get away with that.
And ditto for embassies, right? But embassies are all in D.C. anyway, and that's already close enough to the ocean.
Yeah, they're sovereign territory, but that's different from a border. Yeah, but what most people don't...
But they do have defined area, right?
Yeah, but when you're talking about a border, you're talking about something physical, and the part that most people wouldn't anticipate is the fact that the oceans are all borders, so that's how they get in most of these. So we got Crypto Hour coming up.
We do, and we got some really interesting stories. People are still talking about institutional money coming in. YouTube is being dragged into a lawsuit, and a co-conspirator of Ross Ulbricht has been handed over to the authorities. Stay tuned for that and more when we get back for the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power. But there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news, on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, July 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.17 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,265 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $22, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,719. Antiwar.com reports an ongoing U.S. and Afghan military offensive against the Islamic State in the Nangarhar province is coming to an end soon. Officials say that the target, the border area of Da Bella, will be totally cleared in the operation. U.S. officials are saying that the area on the border with Pakistan was going to be used to attack the cities of Kabul and Jalalabad. The report appears designed to suggest this offensive, once finished, will more or less totally remove the Islamic State from the bulk of the Nangarhar province. This is something we've heard before, of course. Time and again, offensives against the Islamic State in Nangarhar have killed scores or even hundreds of suspects and ended with claims of total victory. Time and again, the Islamic State has reemerged within weeks after the end of the offensive with no apparent long-term losses. This particular offensive appears to have been little more than a matter of convenience for U.S. forces at any rate. The declaration of a ceasefire by the Afghan government at the end of Ramadan meant the U.S. could not attack the Taliban for a while, and they decided to escalate the fighting against the Islamic State instead. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the First Church of Cannabis in Indiana will not be allowed to use cannabis as a religious sacrament as long as cannabis is illegal in the state, according to a judge's ruling. The church argued that it should be allowed to use marijuana for religious use under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, but Marion County Superior Judge Cheryl Lynch rejected that view because the state has a compelling interest to prohibit marijuana to fight drug trafficking. Lynch wrote in her opinion, "The undisputed evidence demonstrates that permitting a religious exemption to laws that prohibit the use and possession of marijuana would hinder drug enforcement efforts statewide and negatively impact public health and safety," adding that police officers would have to differentiate between religious use and non-religious use of cannabis. Lynch said it is compelling and appropriate to treat the illicit drug market in a unitary way. Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill praised Lynch's ruling, saying, "I appreciate the court's fidelity to both the law and to common sense. Indiana's law against the possession, sale, and use of marijuana protects the health, safety, and well-being of the Hoosiers statewide. When the state has justifiable and compelling interest at stake, no one can evade the law simply by describing their illegal conduct as an exercise of religious faith." In response, Bill Levin, who founded the church in 2015, said cannabis is safer than Curtis Hill, adding that he plans to appeal the ruling. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. BitcoinNotBombs.com. Reuters reports health insurers warned that a move by the Trump administration on Saturday to temporarily suspend a program that was set up to pay out $10.4 billion to insurers for covering high-risk individuals last year could drive up premium costs and create marketplace uncertainty. The Affordable Care Act's Risk Adjustment Program is intended to incentivize health insurers to cover individuals with pre-existing and chronic conditions by collecting money from insurers with relatively healthy enrollees to offset the cost of other insurers with sicker ones. President Donald Trump's administration has used its regulatory power to undermine the ACA on multiple fronts after the Republican-controlled Congress last year failed to repeal and replace the law propelled by Democratic President Barack Obama. About 20 million Americans have received health insurance coverage through the Affordable Care Act. America's Health Insurance Plans, a trade group representing insurers offering plans via employers, through government programs, and in the individual marketplace, said the suspensions by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services would create a new market disruption at a critical time when insurers are setting premiums for the next year. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The producers of Sesame Street have responded to the controversy over the recent New Yorker cover that showed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple celebrating the repeal of DOMA. Sesame Workshop released a statement today saying, quote, "We have never viewed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple, but as two friends who will do absolutely anything to get their rocks off. These pansexual perverts cannot be categorized in your narrow gay, straight, or bisexual paradigm. They're into some pretty sick shit." On their website, PBS released a long list of the duo's strange sexual fetishes, which range from shoving ice into their anuses so that they can shit cold water into women's mouths, to castrating stray dogs and then masturbating onto the animals' bleeding wounds. Although they're flattered that fans have turned the characters into gay icons, the producers explained that calling them gay would be inaccurate. Quote, "They will literally f*** anything that moves." The producers also added that Oscar the Grouch is neither male nor female, and that its trash can is designed to hide a lower body that is just a Lovecraftian monstrosity of hundreds of interlocking penises and vaginas.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com on the Call to Freedom.
That's right. Welcome to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Motion Project. Motion Project is the sort of GoFundMe of cryptocurrencies, in that it is a platform designed to facilitate the creation, the promotion, the encouragement, the spread of goodwill and charitable acts on a blockchain. And unlike things like vegetables on a blockchain, this is actually legit. Our own Will Coley is participating in a project orchestrated through motionproject.org, where they are actually creating a really cool charitable platform that will teach a man to fish instead of, as government welfare programs tend to do, is just give them fish. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think what Motion is doing is a beautiful thing. And speaking of Motion, we have free Motion coins to give away. So give us a call at 603-357-9265. and we will hook you up with 10 free Motion coins. Motion is currently valued at about 85 cents, so it's just short of $10 in free Motion. All you have to do is install the wallet. Yeah. No catches whatsoever. Just give us a call, install the wallet, and receive your free Motion coins. And the reason you'll probably want to do this is because a number of years ago at PorcFest, Roger Ver gave away 10 Bitcoins to anyone who would install a Bitcoin wallet. And the people who got those Bitcoins and who held on to them to this day now have $65,000 in Bitcoin. And all they ever had to do was install a wallet. And in this crypto hour, we have some interesting news. YouTube, brought to us by Bitcoin.com, news.bitcoin.com, who is finally hiring an editor. And seeing as I have 3 years of editing experience, I'm going to apply for it.
That's right, lobbying.
Because they need...
Right here on the air.
Yeah, they need an editor. Tom, it's been reported that your volume is kind of low, by the way.
It is?
Yeah.
I never get that.
But YouTube has been dragged into a class action lawsuit against our favorite, BitConnect, for failure to protect its users from being exposed to the scam's videos.
Do we have the BitConnect music?
Oh, I'm about to pull it up. You know that.
BitConnect!
This case might be used by Google. That was not supposed to play yet. And others to justify their bans on crypto ads, arguing that their algorithms cannot distinguish between legitimate projects and frauds. YouTube has been added as a defendant in the class action lawsuit, evident by publicly available documents filed with the Southern District Court of Florida. According to the lawsuit, the Google-owned video platform failed to protect or warn its users from BitConnect affiliates' promotional material, which reached over 70,000 hours and 58 million views on YouTube. Is it just me, Tom, or does that lawsuit strike you as kind of dangerous? I mean...
explain what you mean.
Well, do we really want to set the precedent that it's... I mean, YouTube is just a platform for people to upload videos. Do we really want to hold YouTube responsible for people who are uploading videos about scams?
Well...
Hold the scammers responsible, sure.
Well, here's the thing. The scammers have less money than YouTube does. And you know who you always sue when you're filing a lawsuit? The guy with the most money.
Oh, that's so true.
Because they have the most ability to settle and the most incentive to settle.
Yes.
They don't want to...
And a continuation of their anti-cryptocurrency policy would be continually devastating to the cryptocurrency community.
Indeed.
Several of the affiliate promoter defendants had partnerships with YouTube, pursuant to which the BitConnect defendants disseminated fraudulent and harmful content unsuspecting... See, this is why you need an editor. YouTube was negligent in failing to warn those victims of the harmful content for which YouTube compensated their creators and publishers. Another segment reads, in short, aided by YouTube's negligent failure to warn, the BitConnect defendants defrauded tens of thousands of investors by capitalizing on the general public's excitement for virtual currencies and by luring unsuspecting investors into purchasing unregistered securities and participating in Ponzi schemes. Where's that Elmer Fudd song? We need Fudd, because we got Fudd going on over here. As we reported earlier this year, the original complaint has been filed by Charles Wilds, for instance, and some other people. That's not important. The plaintiff stated that BitConnect's former $2.5 billion market capitalization was built through the use of fraudulent means, in particular a wide-reaching Ponzi scheme that defrauded investors, made a mockery of state and federal securities laws, and employed an army of social media mercenaries who were paid to bring more unsuspecting victims into the fraud. After the matter was exposed, a number of prominent people on the platform had called out YouTubers for promoting BitConnect, including PewDiePie. Now the accusations go deeper than that, blaming the platform itself, which might have chilling consequences for sharing crypto content on social networks if accepted by the court. Well, at least Bitcoin.com noticed the same danger inherent in this that, I pointed out. What do you think, Tom?
It's hard to tell what the intent is. It's hard to tell if this is someone... Sorry. The wife just brought home dinner. It's hard to tell when you get the lawsuit involved whether the actual motivation is to stop the scams or whether the actual motivation is to make a payday out of the existence of the scams.
Mm.
Like I said earlier, they're targeting the deep pocket, not the person who's actually committing the prime wrongdoing. YouTube is at worst a passive host. And while that is sound lawsuit strategy, it does raise the specter of, is this just another form of get-rich-quick scheme off of the same thing, just in a more roundabout way? Class action lawsuits often are, unfortunately. On the other hand, the more that's... Bud. On the other hand, Bud.
Well, they may be...
Where did he even find that?
I don't know. I didn't even know it was supposed to be Elmer Fudd that was singing it. And I was
How
just
did you
listening
not? Who else would that be?
I just thought it was some young, dumb, broke, rapper who just happened to sound a lot like Elmer Fudd.
That would be the most horrible way to try to make a living as a rapper.
I mean, it's not like it sounds bad or anything. But when we get back, we'll be discussing more cryptocurrency news, such as the Indian crypto exchanges, in response to the recent RBI ban, are finding ways around it, as, free markets tend to do. And more crap about institutional money, like totes for real, is coming to Bitcoin, and why people think that matters and why it's actually not going to happen.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every
every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom.
Live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back to the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom, broadcasting live from the Zencash studio, brought to you by motionproject.org. I am Aria DeMezzo, and joined, of course, today by Tom Gray from East Tennessee. And if you remember, we discussed recently that the Indian RBI was banning cryptocurrencies effectively. Tom, would you like to carry the story?
From news.bitcoin.com, Indian crypto exchanges forge ahead with solutions to RBI ban. The RBI, by the way, is the Reserve Bank of India, functionally the National Bank of India, the National Central Bank. Indian cryptocurrency exchanges are forging ahead with their solutions to the crypto banking ban imposed by the country's central bank. A growing number of exchanges have stopped fiat support as they ramp up peer-to-peer and crypto-to-crypto trading. The crypto ban by the Reserve Bank of India went into effect at the end of last week. The central bank issued a circular 3 months ago banning all financial institutions under its control from providing services to companies dealing in cryptocurrencies. The industry was hopeful that the Supreme Court would grant that's the Supreme Court of India, of course, would grant a stay on the ban on July 3rd, but the ban subsequently went into effect. Wazirx, I'm not familiar with what that is. Wazirx. Aria, any idea?
I have no idea.
But I think it's a cryptocurrency exchange based in India. So Wazirx announced on July 4th, we've discontinued rupee deposits with immediate effect. Our banking partner has abruptly stopped supporting our bank account. This is due to the recent RBI circular banning banks from providing support to cryptocurrency exchanges. CoinEx, with a K, announced July 7th that users can still, quote, submit rupee withdrawal deposits until 2 p.m. on July 9th. That was today, after which no further rupee withdrawal request will be accepted. Well, I guess it was today here. It was probably yesterday by now over there. BuyUCoin announced last week that deposit and withdrawal will be halted until further notice due to the RBI circular by midnight on the 5th of July. 3 of the first crypto exchanges to announce a suspension of fiat deposits and withdrawals were ZebPay, which we talked about last week, Pexo, and Coinomi, as news.bitcoin.com previously reported. Another major exchange, UnoCoin, has yet to announce that it has stopped fiat support at press time. So to correct something I said earlier, these are not all exchanges that are located in India, because I know Coinomi is not, but these are exchanges that are having to deal with the fact that they can no longer support the Indian rupee. Amid the RBI's ban, Indian crypto exchanges have been ramping up their solutions to continue business after the ban. Among them is peer-to-peer trading, where the exchange acts as an escrow service between 2 customers for each fiat to crypto trade. Wazirx has been preparing to launch a P2P trading service. CoinX is also gearing up a P2P service called Loop. And another crypto exchange, CoinDelta, has also announced that it will launch Flux, allowing the exchange of digital assets in the best possible experience. Meanwhile, a number of crypto exchanges have ramped up crypto-to-crypto trading services similar to Binance and Poloniex. UnoCoin recently launched its crypto-to-crypto platform, UnoDAX. On July 4th, the exchange announced more trading pairs for the platform. It now offers 9 Bitcoin trading pairs, 4 Ethereum trading pairs, and 4 Ripple trading pairs. UnoCoin emphasized, quote, UnoDAX, India's leading blockchain and crypto asset company, is introducing 17 crypto-to-crypto trading pairs. ZebPay also offers 19 cryptocurrencies and over 35 trading pairs on its platform now that it has dropped fiat support.
Yeah, but
I remember last week you were very skeptical of the idea that these exchanges are going to be particularly successful without any fiat support whatsoever, though.
Yeah, they're just delaying the inevitable. Because they don't answer the first question of how do I get cryptos in the first place. And, last week we went through the Bitcoin ATMs and things like that, and there were none in India, naturally. Most of them were in the United States or in Europe. There were like 5 in all of Africa. And India has the same problem. No Bitcoin ATMs, and now they can't take their rupees and convert them into cryptocurrency. So how are they supposed to get, Doge or Tethers or whatever cryptocurrencies are being offered by this site? How are they supposed to get them in order to exchange them on this site in the first place if they can't turn their fiats into it? They need some form of money that they already own that they can convert into cryptocurrencies in order to use their website to convert one cryptocurrency into another. All of which is unnecessary anyway for the most part because, Coinomi offers support for Shapeshift and Changelly. And it doesn't really matter what country you're in. You can go to Kraken or Yobit and you can do the same thing there, which is, just deposit some cryptocurrencies and trade them for something else. And a lot of these are successful, but they're only successful because we have other places to get crypto in the first place. Like here in New Hampshire, you can work for crypto. That's not true for most people. So, it's going to fail because now people in India, which has like the 2nd largest population in the world, the people of India have no way to answer that first question of how do I get cryptos in the first place?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, but that's what they intended. I mean, it's like we talked about last week. This is basically a competitor of crypto using the power of the government to shut off people's access to their own alternative.
Yep. And that should tell you right there that cryptos are better than fiats.
Mm-hmm. Because if they weren't a legitimate competitor, you probably wouldn't see this sort of action. You wouldn't see the sort of movement even within our own United States government looking at ways that they can regulate crypto. So, I mean, it's legitimate, And the thing about crypto, and we've talked about it before, is that it is persistent. It will be resistant to these sorts of actions, and it is here to stay.
Yep.
It's going to be a bumpy ride for a while while people are getting used to that fact, and until the powers that be learn to accept it and live with it. And that's what we're here for. Every day from 5 to 6 is navigating those treacherous waters. Best of luck to our friends in India as you try to get around what your central bank is doing here. We'll be back on the Call to Freedom on the Liberty Radio Network. Aria DeMezzo, Tom Gray filling in for Will Coley.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveAtPurse.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Oh yeah. Are you in love with a beautiful woman?
Speaking of, how
am.
much longer until your new child arrives?
She will be here in November, and then you will not hear from me for a little while, most likely.
Understandable.
It is a girl, for those of you who missed it. I'm going to have my third daughter. So see, Will's 3 boys and 2 daughters, so I'm already...
Well, I think he's 4 daughters,
total.
Maybe 5.
Oh, yeah. At home, he's got 3 boys and 2 daughters. And he's got a grown daughter and a grandbaby and all that good stuff because Will, well, he wasn't always a devout Muslim. Welcome back to the Call to Freedom on the Liberty Radio Network. Your co-hosts, Tom Gray and Aria DeMezzo, filling in for Will Coley, who is in the butt crack of humanity, Jacksonville, Florida right now. Every time Will goes to Florida, something bad happens. Just kind of waiting for that story to pop up at this point, but he's down there visiting family. I assume the grandbaby is among who he's visiting, so we'll have Will back with us. When will Will be back on the radio with us, Aria?
I assume Monday.
Yeah, so he's got a whole nother week out. So he doesn't get to ride my jock about taking a few days off to visit my in-laws ever again. So we're here on the Crypto Hour, where we discuss all things cryptocurrency. We used to go down the prices of all the major cryptos every time we did one of these. And
see, that's more the lack of enthusiasm thing, though. I mean, yeah when it was like $14,000, we were all over the values. But
yeah, we were like, let me tell you about crypto. And now we're like, although, Ethereum looks like had a nice little spike. Has gotten to 480. It was down under 400 for a while there. Yeah. Bitcoin, according to CoinMarketCap, it looks like all the majors got a little bit of a boost late. Looks like late last week, looking at the price graph.
Bear traps.
And then everything but Bitcoin and Ethereum has come back down to earth. But Bitcoin now trading at 67.87, Ethereum at 481. Bitcoin Cash 744.71. Tether, not surprisingly, is at $1.01, which it's supposed to be because it's Tether. Dash 235.83. Holy crap! What a sinking ship that is.
Dash?
When we first, Dash.
No, it's holding steady. I mean, it's been at about that same value for a while. I mean, it's down from like 800 or whatever it peaked at, but everything is down.
It peaked at 1250, and I know that because right at its peak was when we got paid for our first contract for the show, and I moved most of my Dash into dollars, which was good, but I didn't move all of it.
Well, it's hard for me to talk bad about Dash because they're currently running a program known as Dashback, where any vendor who uses AnyPay in order to accept cryptocurrency purchases, as I talked about earlier, I got a receipt from one earlier, which is really cool. You automatically get back a certain amount of Dash, and it's actually not
smart.
Yeah, it's actually Dashback. It's meant to be a play on cashback. Only it's instant, and it's not a percentage. You get back $5 in Dash with every single purchase. Whether you buy a $1 drink or a 17 bottle of vapor liquid.
That's really smart of them. I mean, they're borrowing something out of the playbook of, the credit card companies. Because, usage and penetration are really important, and that's one way to gain it. So now I'm not downgrading Dash when I say it's a sinking ship. I'm saying the value, if we're trying to hold it as an investment, has really bitten you. But I always preach on this show, when you get into cryptocurrency, understand that it's supposed to be used
as a currency.
Exactly. It was an incidental fact that for a few months there, people were making a lot of money off the fact that the value spiked.
A few years.
I would compare it to, and this will hit home for you, Arya, Magic cards.
Yeah.
People will sometimes get upset because they pay $30 for a Magic card and it's $15 a few weeks
Use
later.
Stardock Games, man.
But then the question is it still useful to you? Are you still able to use that Magic card to continue playing the game and making yourself money by using it?
Even more appropriately on that note is the platform Steam, where I have bought so many games for like $20, $25, and then a week later they were on sale for $5.
Yeah, but did you have fun?
No. The final one pissed me off so bad.
Okay. It was a rhetorical question, Arya.
that I contacted both Square Enix and Valve about it, because I had bought the 2013 version of Tomb Raider for $20. And 3 days later, the 2013 Tomb Raider, all of its DLC, the first 8 Tomb Raider games, and all of the DLC available for them was on sale for $20. So if I had waited 3 days, I would have gotten 8 more games, all the DLC for 2 of those games, and some stupid comic book that I'm never going to read. And to Valve's credit, they did say, you know what, that is kind of messed up. We don't advertise ourselves or anything like that. So you had no way of knowing. So we're going to refund this purchase and give you back your $20 and go ahead and buy the package.
That may have been the exact same sale where I got the 2013 Tomb Raider, because I got it on the last Steam sale, and I think I paid...
Oh, no, I did this in 2016, I think.
Yeah, it just went on sale again.
Yeah, it does.
But that's it.
That's what taught me that Steam regularly puts things on sale, and if it's not on sale, don't even bother, because chances are a few days from now, it's going to be on sale.
Right. On the flip side, though, even though I knew the minute that it came out that Fallout 4, within a year, you'd be able to get it on the Steam sale for half of retail, I still bought it on release day, and I bought all the goodies and paid full price, and I played the heck out of it. I got usage
I don't do that.
out of it.
Unless there's a massive sale, I will not buy a game brand new unless I have first downloaded it from the Pirate Bay and played the crap out of it and verified that it both is fun and it works.
Yeah, but if you download cryptocurrency from a pirate website and use it before you actually, exchange real value for it, that's breaking the law.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be pretty difficult.
Yep, you're crapping on my analogy, Arya, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of gamers out here. So I mean, this is all stuff that interests them.
But what I'm saying
someone in the
is,
Discord chat is playing Fallout Shelter right now.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know why you'd be on Discord while you do that. Well,
because a lot of people leave Discord running on their gaming computers because it's primarily a gaming chat.
It would be kind of awkward to play Fallout Shelter on a PC because it's a touch optimized game. But anyway, what I'm saying,
well, so is Kingdom Rush and Kingdom Rush Frontiers, but they are fantastic on PC.
What I'm saying though about cryptocurrency is
about what?
If you about cryptocurrency, the thing we're
What's
supposed
this
to be doing.
crypto hour we're talking about?
I don't know. If only I knew of somebody who runs a website about it and is styled as the queen of crypto on my own radio show. But anyway, even if you bought into Bitcoin when it was maxed out, if you then spent it and got value out of it, you didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
If you are buying crypto now and actually using it as a medium of exchange, you are still benefiting from it, even though the market will tell you that it's not worth what it was yesterday. It's still worth a great deal to you, especially if you're in one of those countries
where
it gives you economic buying power you wouldn't otherwise have. We'll be back.
Well, it's a lot like the bird in the hand or bird in the bush kind of thing. A lot of people look at the bird in the hand and they're looking at the 2 birds in the bush and go, man, I wish I had those 2 birds. Screw this 1 bird. And the grass is kind of greener on the other side thing. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
The bush? What?
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since Republican leaders unveiled the reanimated corpse of Ronald Reagan at a fundraising event last week, the undead former president has quickly emerged as the new face of the Republican Party. Since Reagan was brought back from the grave by GOP leaders in a top-secret $2.2 million reanimation project, poll data shows Reagan with a higher favorability rating than all other high-profile Republicans combined.
The voters know Reagan. They trust Reagan. When he moans at them, they're going to listen.
There's questions as to whether he still has capacity for thought, and he does eat people, but big picture, he's the best option they have right now.
And appeared in a series of GOP ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Congress and the president say they're trying to help fix our country's economy. Ronald Reagan and the Republican Party have the right idea for America's future.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. I am Aria DeMesso, joined via remote by Tom Gray. Speaking of Ross Ulbricht, who has been promised a pardon by U.S. presidential candidate Arvin Vohra,
You're gonna love calling him that.
I'm gonna,
U.S. presidential candidate Arvin Vara.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna promote him at every single opportunity, man.
And we thought that we would never get used to saying U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump.
Yeah, but Arvin Vara isn't.
He's way better than Donald
a lunatic.
Trump.
Yeah.
Even if you have issues with Donald Trump, I think 95% of people listening to this show would probably like Arvin better.
Well, apparently, dark web alleged Silk Road conspirator Gary Davis of Ireland agreed recently to be extradited to the United States. That was a poor decision. Once on U.S. soil, he will face charges levied against him 5 years ago in connection with the eventual conviction of Ross Ulbricht, who prosecutors claim was the site's mastermind. Mr. Davis, should he be convicted, would receive a life sentence. A visibly upset Roger Ver, CEO of Bitcoin.com, took to his personal YouTube channel wearing a freeross.org t-shirt. Mr. Ver said about reminding viewers of two ominous happenings in recent weeks as they relate to the crypto community. Ross Ulbricht's appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States was refused. Ooh, we have to discuss that. Upholding a circuit court decision affirming his life sentence without the possibility of parole. He, Mr. Ver also reminded, has been languishing in prison for half a decade for doing nothing. Mr. Ver also limited news. A former employee at Bitcoin.com, Gary Davis, 29, was to be extradited from his native Ireland. Mr. Davis faces charges stemming from his alleged involvement in Silk Road. Silk Road was an online marketplace, one credited with demonstrating a use case for cryptocurrency as peer-to-peer cash. The site matched buyers and sellers, and often those voluntary exchanges ran afoul of U.S. law. Mr. Davis was arrested by Irish law enforcement after U.S. Judge James C. Francis IV of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Good God, 90% of that sentence was not necessary.
How so?
All we needed to know was outlined 3 counts of indictment. Mr. Davis has been charged with 3 counts. Conspiracy to distribute narcotics, conspiracy to commit computer hacking, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. U.S. prosecutors asked Mr. Davis to be extradited as far back as early 2014. On the subject of things being eliminated from that sentence, the job of editors is to eliminate unnecessary things. And almost all of that could be eliminated.
Like the federal government.
Yeah,
ha ha!
Exactly like the federal government. We need to edit. We need to edit the government. The government needs an editor.
Nice.
As of late June of the present year, Mr. Davis waived his final appeal from being sent to the United States and essentially agreed to extradition. He was forced to capitulate shortly after Ireland's highest court ruled 5-0. The process engaged in by U.S. and Irish law enforcement was legal. Mr. Davis had 2 days to further appeal to the European Union Court of Human Rights. He declined. You should have appealed to Russia. Mr. Davis will be caged in New York's Metro Correctional Jail, presumably until trial or plea. In advance of just this scenario, a legal team has already been assembled in the U.S. They will have their work cut out for them if Mr. Ulbricht's plight is any indication of what's in store. The original FBI indictment pegs Mr. Davis as Libertas, allegedly Mr. Ulbricht's right hand at Silk Road. The site was said by the FBI to have generated in excess of $1 billion, with Mr. Ulbricht's take in the teens of millions. See that? So unnatural. People don't say that, the teens of millions. Law enforcement officials in the U.S. claim Mr. Davis was paid $6,000 a month to be a kind of customer service representative at Silk Road.
That's a pretty well-paying customer service job.
Yeah, and I don't think it makes him a conspirator, does it?
It could.
Yeah, because, I mean, anybody can be a conspirator according to the RICO Act.
If you're getting paid $6,000 a month for quote-unquote customer service, that does sort of sound like the customer service side of things is pretextual, doesn't it?
Not really. I mean, let's say I worked at Domino's again as a CSR, customer service representative, the people who answer the phones and put in the orders. And let's say Domino's was doing something shady. I don't know, selling drugs hidden in some of their pizzas or whatever. Would that make me a co-conspirator?
Well, if they then came to you and said, hey, Aria, we're going to bump your pay up to $6,000 a month, and you're going to do some stuff.
But I'm still just being a customer service representative.
Well, on paper.
Well, that's all the government...
If you're paying somebody $6,000 a month, do you really think all you're going to ask them to do is answer the phones?
I mean, not... What is that, 72 grand a year? I mean, that's not like, oh, I'm clearly, selling drugs and laundering money kind of money. I mean, that's kind of low for a drug dealer. A major worldwide drug dealer, allegedly.
Sure, but it's definitely more than answering the phones and getting coffee money.
Well, I mean, that's subjective. A really good employer could easily pay $72,000 for that. I think that's about what we paid our dispatcher 5 or 6 years ago at Baker Information Technology Services.
And I guess what they would then tell you is, well, he needs to come back here so we can have a trial and figure out which it is.
Well, Mr. Davis has been fighting extradition based on his Asperger's syndrome spectrum, arguing healthcare wouldn't be of similar quality in the U.S. while awaiting justice in this matter.
Wow. He's arguing that the United States healthcare system is not good enough to deal with his Asperger's, and that's why he shouldn't have to face trial.
No, he's arguing that our prison system is not considerate enough of his Asperger's syndrome.
Same difference.
No, there's a huge difference. Our healthcare system is more than capable of doing it, but our prison system simply says, screw you, we're not doing it.
Oh, I would have to contest whether our overall healthcare system is all that good at dealing with autism spectrum disorders. Lest you mistake me, I was not necessarily disagreeing with his assertion. He may have a point. We don't treat people with autism spectrum disorders very well in this country. We usually either undertreat them or severely overtreat them. There's a pretty good chance that in jail, if he had...
Well, it gets worse.
If he had the kind of anxiety issues that often come along with Asperger's when you're put into a small space with a bunch of strangers, they would probably medicate the living crap out of him, whether or not he agreed.
Well, during his 4-year appeal process in Ireland, Mr. Davis reportedly explained to a psychiatrist the entire case was due to mistaken identity. A copy of his passport on Mr. Olbert's R drive, he noted, was a mystery. Mr. Ver, in his video, highlighted how Mr. Davis had never been to the U.S. and would essentially be uprooted from everything he's ever known. Then why is he under U.S. jurisdiction if he's never even been to the country? Indeed, Mr. Davis's defense made a similar argument about isolation in the United States, and Irish justice agreed, stressing he wished to emphasize how he would in no way seek to diminish or trivialize the very real concerns and worries of the appellant and his family as he faces the prospect of extradition to the United States and being imprisoned there. Such a prospect would be daunting for an individual in robust mental health, let alone someone coping with a significant mental health condition. And then there is a video here called My Story of Being Tortured in Prison. And I would like to play it, but it's 21 minutes long. But go check it out.
And we can't tell what it's about. Is it about Ross Ulbricht?
No, it's about the dude we're talking about.
About Davis?
Yeah, about Davis. So go to news.bitcoin.com and check out the dark web alleged Silk Road conspirator and watch his video about being tortured in prison. And for those familiar with the American prison system, even though I'm assuming he's not referring to the American prison, I mean, if he's never been to America, it's not surprising. We regularly torture people in prison by denying them medication, by denying them food. We have prisons in the central of the United States that don't have air conditioning. And where if you drive by with your windows down, you can hear the inmates screaming out of the windows and begging to be let out because they're being cooked alive. And that's not even getting into people like Joe Arpaio.
uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, July 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.17 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,265 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $22, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,719. Antiwar.com reports an ongoing U.S. and Afghan military offensive against the Islamic State in the Nangarhar province is coming to an end soon. Officials say that the target, the border area of Da Bella, will be totally cleared in the operation. U.S. officials are saying that the area on the border with Pakistan was going to be used to attack the cities of Kabul and Jalalabad. The report appears designed to suggest this offensive, once finished, will more or less totally remove the Islamic State from the bulk of the Nangarhar province. This is something we've heard before, of course. Time and again, offensives against the Islamic State and Nangarhar have killed scores or even hundreds of suspects and ended with claims of total victory. Time and again, the Islamic State has re-emerged within weeks after the end of the offensive with no apparent long-term losses. This particular offensive appears to have been little more than a matter of convenience for U.S. forces at any rate. The declaration of a ceasefire by the Afghan government at the end of Ramadan meant the U.S. could not attack the Taliban for a while, and they decided to escalate the fighting against the Islamic State instead. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the First Church of Cannabis in Indiana will not be allowed to use cannabis as a religious sacrament as long as cannabis is illegal in the state, according to a judge's ruling. The church argued that it should be allowed to use marijuana for religious use under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, but Marion County Superior Judge Cheryl Lynch rejected that view because the state has a compelling interest to prohibit marijuana to fight drug trafficking. Lynch wrote in her opinion, "The undisputed evidence demonstrates that permitting a religious exemption to laws that prohibit
the use and possession of marijuana would hinder drug enforcement efforts statewide and negatively impact public health and safety, adding that police officers would have to differentiate between religious use and non-religious use of cannabis. Lynch said it is compelling and appropriate to treat the illicit drug market in a unitary way. Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill praised Lynch's ruling, saying, "I appreciate the court's fidelity to both the law and to common sense. Indiana's law against the possession, sale, and use of marijuana protects the health, safety, and well-being of the Hoosiers statewide. When the state has justifiable and compelling interest at stake, no one can evade the law simply by describing their illegal conduct as an exercise of religious faith." In response, Bill Levin, who founded the church in 2015, said cannabis is safer than Curtis Hill, adding that he plans to appeal the ruling. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. BitcoinNotBombs.com. Reuters reports health insurers warned that a move by the Trump administration on Saturday to temporarily suspend a program that was set up to pay out $10.4 billion to insurers for covering high-risk individuals last year could drive up premium costs and create marketplace uncertainty. The Affordable Care Act's Risk Adjustment Program is intended to incentivize health insurers to cover individuals with pre-existing and chronic conditions by collecting money from insurers with relatively healthy enrollees to offset the cost of other insurers with sicker ones. President Donald Trump's administration has used its regulatory power to undermine the ACA on multiple fronts after the Republican-controlled Congress last year failed to repeal and replace the law propelled by Democratic President Barack Obama. About 20 million Americans have received health insurance coverage through the Affordable Care Act. America's Health Insurance Plans, a trade group representing insurers offering plans via employers, through government programs, and in the individual marketplace, said the suspensions by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services would create a new market disruption at a critical time when insurers are setting premiums for the next year. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The members of Twisted Sister announced they are now willing to take it. A local man is seated next to Lou Reed on a roller coaster, and in retrospect, a band teacher was probably gay. And now a digitally remastered recap of the summer's music news. Baby Baby Love Ya Girl is now the nation's #1 song, despite no one claiming credit for singing, writing, or producing it. Here now is a short excerpt of the track.
Baby, baby, love you, girl. Baby, baby, love you, girl. Baby.
Members of the music industry call the hit single the most creatively brain-dead wasteland in modern recording history. And they say they would gladly lose millions in royalties rather than face the shame of having been involved in it. After a slap-bass filibuster from rubber band minority leader Bootsy Collins, the National Funk Congress remains deadlocked over the controversial Get Up, Get Down issue. Proponents of the measure favor getting on up and staying on the scene like a sex machine, while detractors are vehement in their belief that Americans need to get down with their bad selves.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. I am Arya DeMezzo, filling in for Will Culley. Or, I don't know if filling in is the right word, just sort of flying solo without...
Yeah.
Well, not flying solo
Flying
either.
solo! Flying solo!
I did do the first segment.
For Pete's
and it was
sake.
rough.
Flying solo. As if I don't set aside 3 hours of my day to sit
I'm sorry,
here.
Tom. It's slip of the brain, man.
I'm totally not sitting here reading about magic cards while making you do most of the work or anything. So we're back on the Call to Freedom, and I think we have a story coming up here that will just make Arya and I both sufficiently furious.
Oh, it will. Coming to us from the LA Times, otherwise you would think it was fake news. Faced with complaints of filth and blight, Los Angeles cracks down on overnight RV parking. Now homeless people are scrambling. For a while, Vincent Neal and his family parked their weathered RVs on a stretch of roadway in Canoga Park, where the kids had friends down the street. But then business owners began to complain. So Neal, his wife, and their 7 children relocated their caravan of vehicles to a Chatsworth manufacturing zone. Then a new set of signs went up along that street banning bulky vehicles from parking there between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. "We got evicted by the red zone," Neal said. So the family moved again, this time to another industrial street about a mile away, and Neal said others soon followed. By February, as many as a dozen RVs were regularly stationing themselves on a single block of Irondale Avenue, a nagging frustration to nearby businesses and a stark reminder of a simmering crisis. As dilapidated campers have become rolling homes for the destitute, that's a weird sentence, they have become another battleground over blight, nuisances, and the rights of the poor in Los Angeles. Facing complaints about trash, clogged roads, and other hazards, the city has banned them from remaining overnight on street after street, but has often ended up merely moving the problem. Across Los Angeles, it was illegal to live in a vehicle until a federal court struck down that citywide ban 4 years ago. LA then passed a law that barred vehicle dwellers from spending the night near homes, parks, and schools, but allowed them to park and sleep on a scattering of streets in industrial and commercial districts marked in green on city maps. Can you carry it for a second, Tom?
LA then passed a new law that barred but even those roads can be off limits if the city has posted street-by-street signs banning overnight parking. More than a year later, after the new law went into effect, the city council has gradually clamped down on where RVs, the most obvious manifestation of people sleeping in their vehicles, can legally park for the night. A Times analysis found that since the ordinance was approved, lawmakers have voted to ban, quote, oversized vehicles from parking overnight on more than 300 street segments from Chatsworth to San Pedro.
And you know,
the banned areas span only a short block, while others extend as long as 3 miles.
I just have one thing to say.
What's that? But it's not. It's not okay to the homeless, though. No, Cartman, you're wrong.
He is. And
you're wrong about this, Cartman.
He is. And I think that's a point worth addressing. Is that, I mean, this well-known progressive bastion has become the most hostile in the United States toward poor people. Well, I mean, there are, I think it's Florida where it's illegal to feed the homeless. I keep saying the homeless because it's so deeply ingrained in the public consciousness, but it's wrong. Homeless is not a type of person. There are homeless people. There's no such thing as a homeless. You wouldn't say a trans or a gay or a black. Or,
well, I mean, Trump might.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to. It's dehumanizing. It's disgusting. Yes. It's an attempt to deny people personhood. And it's especially egregious when it comes to homeless people. I mean, they're treated like worse than... They're treated like pests, I would say, needing to be exterminated. And this is why I like Brian Ellison so much and his Arm the Homeless campaign. The whole thing is disgusting. But it's such an easy problem to fix. Homelessness is.
Just let people exist.
Yeah. And
I mean, at least from...
And legalize prostitution. And I know how a lot of people have, selling your body for sex is degrading. Why? Why? Because some people think it is. I don't know. If you like sex and you need money, what's the problem? But California has other issues with homelessness, do they not? Wasn't there the guy in California who attempted to start a shoe shining business and built himself up and was immediately torn back down by the state? Was that not in California?
At least one of those stories that we've covered on here was, yeah. I mean,
it seems like there's a running theme here of just utter dehumanization, and
there's also a running theme of the least tolerant situations for these people seems to be in these supposedly liberal cities.
Yeah,
because they talk a good game about giving the homeless free stuff, but when it comes to actually getting yourself out of the situation you're in, or even just existing, just having somewhere to sleep, those are not tolerated. Sure, we'll give you, free food out of the city coffers, but don't you dare start any sort of small enterprise that might allow you to improve your situation. And by the way, if we decide that we want things to look nice, we're going to chase you away.
I think that's what concerns me the most about this, in fact, is that, the filth and the blight is how this is described. What a horrible thing to say about people. I mean, this guy has a family with 7 children, and you essentially just said that his family is a blight on your city.
And they mean it. Like, they mean it exactly like you just said it. They can try to dress it up, but what they really want is for people like this to go away. And
so they don't have to look down upon them from their ivory towers.
Exactly. Or their Beverly Hills mansions, as the case may be. I mean, they chase them out of most of the neighborhoods, and then they start individually chasing them out of the neighborhoods where they claim that they're going to allow them to get around the federal man.
Even walking down the street to pick up my newspaper, I'm getting complaints, said Councilman Bob Blumenfield, who represents neighborhoods in the western San Fernando Valley, including the Woodland Hills and Canoga Park. We don't want our neighborhoods to become campsites. This is horrible. I don't even know that I can comment on it it's just heartbreaking.
Well, we'll try to finish this story out when we get back, even if I have to do the majority of the yelling to give you an emotional break.
Yes, please do.
So we'll be back on the Call to Freedom on the Liberty Radio Network. Tom Gray and Aria DeMezzo filling in for Will Coley.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
That's right. Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.fm. I am your host today, Arya Demetsov, covering for Will Coley, who is on vacation. And joining me, of course, is Tom Gray from East Tennessee. And we are discussing the heartbreaking, tragic, horrific story of Los Angeles and its treatment of homeless people. And of course, anyone who listens to Tool knows what a cesspool Los Angeles generally is anyway. But this story is so heartbreaking that, as I was saying before the break, I don't even know that I have words to say about it. It just makes me want to cry about how these human beings are being treated by people who claim to be motivated by empathy.
Which we all know is BS.
Clearly.
And we know them by their fruits. I mean, that's
absolutely
biblical. Yeah. So, picking back up with the article, we get a little bit of a look into what these people are like. I'm going to start up here with the City Hall meeting, because I think the quote that's below that is worth repeating itself. At a recent City Hall meeting, Chandra Mosley and other members of the View Heights Block Club pleaded for new restrictions on trucks and RVs parking in their South Los Angeles neighborhood. Mosley said the street across from her church had become an eyesore over the last year, cluttered with trash and sewage dumped by people living there in campers and buses. Some neighbors have seen drug deals as they pass, she added. Yeah, I'm sure that little Miss Chandra Mosley at her church is totally knows what a drug deal looks like. Quote, even walking down the street to pick up my newspaper, I'm getting complaints, said Councilman Bob Blumenfield, who apparently didn't understand the job of a city councilman is to get complaints.
Right.
Who represents neighborhoods in the western San Fernando Valley, including Woodland Hills and Canoga Park. Quote, we don't want our neighborhoods to become campsites.
I mean, the only way he could get more complaints is if he ran for the chair of the LP.
But to his credit, here's Blumenfeld, he says simply banning RVs on more and more streets is quote-unquote untenable. Now, you may think that he means that as a matter of humanitarianism, but as we learned earlier, nope, it's because they've been sued already for trying to do exactly that. So when he says it's untenable, he means he doesn't want to get sued again. Los Angeles has been slow to provide, quote, safe parking locations for people living in RVs and other vehicles to legally spend the night. Safe places to park, like, I don't know, parking lots. So when the signs go up, the blocky vehicles sometimes move just a few streets away, spurring complaints from a new set of arseholes. I mean, neighbors. That's what happened when new signs went up.
Of conceited, arrogant pricks, I would say.
Booyah. That's what happened when new signs went up on some streets in Chatsworth, including the curving road where Neil and his family had once parked. Quote, when they cleared out over there, they all landed over here, said Michelle Gigantis. It's an unfortunate last name. General
It's an unfortunate outlook on life. It's an unfortunate human being. It's an unfortunate heartless cow.
General manager of Classic Cosmetics. Yeah, heartless cow who sells makeup that Arya will never wear.
Absolutely not.
Jergitis Prick, sorry, just Jergitis is her last name, said she felt for families living in the RVs, but lamented that some vehicle dwellers had strewn the Princess's property with needles and excrement. Workers have had to park far away in the early morning because the street was lined with boxy vehicles. This article is obsessed with the shape of RVs, by the way.
And you know what? Oh, okay, I can't speak to whether or not the people living in RVs are, emptying out their sewer just wherever they happen to be. But if they are, the reason they're doing that is because there's nowhere for them to legitimately park their RVs to empty them. So see, California created this problem, or Los Angeles created this problem by not letting, RV parks exist, by not providing RV parks. And you would think that, relative to the advantages, the city of Los Angeles could absolutely afford to provide a few free RV parks. Take out some of the rest stops, or just let them stay at the rest stops for a while.
Not to mention, by the way, that even before all of this, they cut down everywhere that you could have normally gone to poop to build, housing complexes.
Yeah, that costs $600,000 a year if you want to rent.
Exactly. Irene Schaffa, who owns another nearby business, said workers had become fearful of taking walks at lunchtime and waited to make sure everyone was picked up safely before they left.
Well, why? Has anybody mentioned an increase in crime?
No. In fact, we haven't even read that claim yet, which you would have expected to see, wouldn't you?
You would.
We haven't yet.
But I mean, becoming fearful, as we mentioned in my debate with Matt Keenel, becoming fearful doesn't mean anything. I mean, some people are just scared little sissies. Someone being afraid of something does not mean there's a legitimate threat there. It just means they have internal issues that they need to work out. Like right after I started heroin, I almost said right after I started heroin. There's no truth in that. Right after I started estrogen, I was terrified of everything. Like once the sun went down, I closed all of my curtains, turned off all the lights, and just kind of cowered in my living room watching TV and waiting for the sun to come back up. I was terrified. I don't know why. I just had this pervasive sense that there was some evil thing outside watching me and coming to kill me. And it still bothers me with sleep apnea and things like that. Just about all of my nightmares are fixated on that central premise. But there was nothing there. There was nothing causing that. It was entirely internal, just like all fear. It was just internal crap I had to deal with. Now, sure, sometimes there are internal threats, but they so rarely trigger fear. They trigger a response, fight or flight. Sit there and cower is not generally the kind of response elicited from an actual threat. Fear is more pervasive when there is no threat. So these people being afraid of taking walks at lunchtime, it suggests that there was no threat at all in broad daylight from these homeless people.
Just folks jumping at shadows, basically.
Exactly. Cowering in their homes with their lights off, probably because they were taking a little bit too much estrogen. And yes, I'm referring to the entire city of Los Angeles.
Maybe some of these folks who have too much estrogen need to get a little bit more testosterone.
I would say so. Or maybe the same chemicals that they're using to turn the frogs gay, according to Alex Jones, are being pumped into Los Angeles' water. And so now they're all turned into little pansies who are jumping at shadows and who are scared to walk around in broad daylight at lunchtime because there is a homeless guy over there. And I don't know how to deal with that.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Free Talk Live.
I had a turning point in my life that happened right here on the air on Free Talk Live. A veteran, a guy who had served like 20 years in the military in both the Navy and the Army, called in and he asked me to rebut the statement. The military are a bunch of paid killers working for liars and thieves in Washington, D.C. Now, when you're stuck here on the air, you're on live radio. There's nowhere to go. You can't excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. You can't change the subject. You're a talk show host who has built their reputation on honesty and logic. What are you going to do when somebody says that to you? Well, when you don't have an answer to something, you're going to have to look really hard at the other side's opinion. And that's what I was left doing.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcasting live from the Zencash studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And of course, this segment is brought to you by CryptVisor. That's cryptvisor.network, CryptVisor.network. You know, the government has so many ways to monitor people's communications and to spy on people, and can even go further and shut down entire servers, preventing one another from communicating securely, privately, and safely. Well, this is where CryptVisor comes in. CryptVisor is a blockchain-based communication solution that has no centralized server, that has no information stored for the government to subpoena or request, or whatever the correct terminology would be for when the government says, hey, we want this, give it to us, or we'll shoot you. Up until August, they are running a program where you can install CryptVisor for free. So visit cryptvisor.network and go ahead and check it out. That's cryptvisor.network. Now moving on, Tom brought us a speech earlier, and
sort of, yeah. It's so Donald Trump held a rally on July 5th. I don't remember where it was, but he gave a really bizarre speech. And the video that I sent Aria earlier was, okay, well, part of this speech, he started talking for no discernible reason about Elton John.
Because he's gay, clearly.
So this couple, they decided to take some actual words from Trump's speech and set it to the Elton John song, Someone Saved My Life Tonight. And,
let's check it out.
Yeah, sure.
I have broken more Elton John records. He seems to have a lot of records. By the way, I don't have a musical instrument. I don't have a guitar or an organ. No organ, damn it. Elton has an organ and lots of other people helping. No, we've broken a lot of records because you know. This space, they need much more room for basketball, for hockey, and for all the sports. They need a lot of room. We don't need it. We have people in that space. We break all of these records. Really, we do it without like the musical brain attached to the mouth, right?
He actually said these things.
More important than the mouth is the brain.
Oh my God! What the hell?
All real quotes. Hold on, there was more. There was more.
Oh my God! I can take more.
The brain is much more important. The words of Donald J. Trump.
So
well, there you have it, folks. The brain
president
is much more important than the mouth.
And he doesn't have any musical instruments. He doesn't.
What the hell was he talking about?
Damn it. And then he said damn it because he doesn't have any musical instruments. As though he couldn't buy one if he really wanted one.
Hold on. Okay, so he was giving a speech and just goes, I don't have any musical instruments.
All of the things
I will let you borrow my guitar, Mr. Trump.
The brain, much more important than the mouth.
That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
He said a few other things in his speech. I sent Arya a New York Times article. The headline is, Trump assails critics and mocks Me Too. What about Putin? Quote, he's fine. President Trump lobbed personal and derogatory attacks at 2 Democratic senators, mocked the Me Too movement, and vouched for Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday during a freewheeling, raucous rally ostensibly intended to solidify support for Montana's Republican Senate candidate. Taunting Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, with a refusal to apologize for calling her, quote, Pocahontas, Mr. Trump imagined a debate during which he would gently throw an ancestry testing kit at Ms. Warren to make her prove the Native American heritage she has controversially claimed. Quote, we are going to have to do it gently because we're the Me Too generation, so we have to be very careful, the president said to scattered laughter.
America 2018.
Adding that he would donate $1 million to charity if Ms. Warren followed through. By the way, you may recall that Trump made this same pledge if President Obama could provide his birth certificate.
I most certainly remember. Oh, but no. Trump was never at the head of the birther movement, remember?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when Obama released his birth certificate, the money was nowhere to be found.
That's right.
Let's see. Mr. Trump was in Montana. He unabashedly told the crowd to settle a political score with Senator John Tester, who is tangled in a tough re-election campaign with Matt Rosendale, the state auditor. The president blamed Mr. Tester for the failed nomination of Dr. Ronnie L. Jackson as head of the Veterans Affairs Department because he raised concerns about Dr. Jackson's professional conduct. Apparently, Trump thinks that it was John Tester's fault that Dr. Jackson was involved in, a DUI involving a government vehicle, among other things. The president criticized Mr. Tester's voting record, blah, blah, blah. But Mr. Trump eventually broadened his verbal assault to include a number of familiar Washington opponents, the news media, his own Justice Department, and Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat of California, who he claimed had an IQ of, quote, about 60.
I hate Trump, but I do love his troll nature. I wouldn't want... I mean, it's not enough to redeem him, but someone like...
No, it's really not.
Someone like Sarwark or I don't know. He's the best troll I could think of who would be suitable for the job as president. Would be good and, serviceable at least, because they're not insane, but they would be trolling people in the same manner. I tried not to laugh when you referred to Trump's calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, but
because it's really bad.
yeah, but it's
You
just
shouldn't
so
call people
Trump.
that.
It's so Trump.
Well, it is, yes.
Well, we'll be back shortly, either with more of this or with cannabis news, if there is something interesting going on. So stay tuned for more of our frivolity and terrible jokes and laughing at inappropriate things here on The Call to Freedom.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you you can go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
That's right. Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. I am Aria DeMezzo, joined via remote by Tom Gray from the mountains of East Tennessee, the Blue Ridge, and the Smoky Mountains, in fact. And we've got an interesting question to which we'd like the answer. And I will ask the question, and then Tom will provide the answer. Can you smoke weed in Antarctica?
This is from, and I can't believe we don't use this source more on the show, High Times. Can you smoke weed in Antarctica? Subhead, the seventh continent may be the most pot-friendly place on the planet. I'd like to point out for our viewer, or our listeners, because you can't see it, that the photo accompanying this article appears to be of a baby penguin who is high as all get out. Very cute, very high baby penguin. Anyway, moving on.
Is there really a high penguin there?
Did you not click the link? Yeah,
I did, but I'm not looking at
high.
it. Yeah, he does.
Where the heck is Chris when we need him for the penguin dance?
You guys got some chips on that ship.
To the left and to the side.
But you know, he's a penguin, so he can just hunt for fish or something if he gets too high.
Well, yeah, because you're going to get the munchies. I mean, but you got to get your motivation back up. Anyway.
He can raid the Coast Guard ship. It.
So here we go. From High Times. What a time to be alive! Exclamation mark. Not only is the number of U.S. states with legal recreational weed on the rise, not to mention entire countries like Canada and Uruguay.
Well, that's incorrect. Canada's was almost entirely fixated on medical marijuana.
Sure. And why did they single out Uruguay here? What's up, High Times? I didn't know Uruguay was like a cannabis vacation destination. Anyway, it's never been easier to travel to those places to partake in the consumption of cannabis. Checking off places and dream activities is almost a form of social currency nowadays, with flights as fast and cheap as they are, and getting stoned in different places is high, up there. Whoever wrote this article has never looked up how much it actually costs to get to Antarctica, but okay. And at the nexus of these bucket list and country, and at the nexus of these bucket list and country counts is the big one: smoking weed in Antarctica.
Among who? Who is out there going, man, I would love to go to the coldest freaking place on the planet and get high.
I'm starting to answer my own question about why we don't usually source High Times for this segment. Making it to Antarctica is the traveler's version of a runner completing their first marathon. Well, okay, here we go. It is one of the few places on the planet that's still prohibitively expensive and challenging to reach, with trips to South America preceding costly icebreaker voyages that only run for a few months out of the year. Having the time, funds, and durability to get to the South Pole isn't something every wanderer can claim. But if you are going to go through with the effort to check off Antarctica on the old bucket list, the obvious question is, how do I get high while I'm there?
I did not think that would be the obvious question.
The best way to figure this out is by looking at the scientists who spend upwards of 6 months a year working on the ice. Antarctica is a strong, independent continent that has no government. And even though it's functionally a lawless land, there isn't a straightforward yes or no answer to the question of legality. The Antarctic Treaty forbids anyone of any citizenship from doing things like setting off nuclear bombs. Well, we had to sign a treaty to make sure nobody nuked Antarctica.
Well, those penguins, man. We got to keep the penguins under control.
Not to mention all the ice that would melt from the nuclear explosion, thereby destroying the planet. Anyway, but it has nothing to say about the consumption of cannabis, or any other drug for that matter. So growing, consuming, or selling pot is technically legal. There's no law saying you can't. However, scientists in Antarctica are subject to the laws of their home country, and tourists are beholden to whichever travel company brought them there. Crimes committed by tourists in Antarctica would refer back to their home country. There isn't a category of people arriving in Antarctica independently, at least not yet, but in theory, they would be able to do whatever they want. Whether you're a scientist or a tourist.
Yeah, but if we had a category of people arriving in Antarctica independently, according to the terms that you just laid out, then they would be coming from Ancapistan, where they could just do whatever they wanted anyway.
Sweet. Quote, you tend to be there as part of a group that expects certain standards, and you might have signed a code of conduct contract, explained soil scientist and Oregon-based grower Otis Gardens Greg Selby. Otis Gardens is the name of the cannabis garden. Greg Selby is the name of the owner of Otis Gardens, by the way.
I mean, nobody wants to be stuck in Antarctica for 9 months out of the year with the guy who masturbates into the kitchen sink.
He says, since you're paid by a government and living in university camps, cannabis use is normally frowned upon. The only real risk is getting kicked out of camp for breaking government or campus policy. Well, getting kicked out of camp in the middle of Antarctica is a pretty huge risk because you would probably be dead within a few hours.
Yeah, well, because we didn't nuke the penguins.
Because there's nothing to keep you warm or eat. So,
well, see, there we go. Nuke the penguins, and then you can be warm from the radiation. And then you can eat the radioactive penguins. It's a win-win.
See, if you'd played the Fallout games at full price, and you would know that doesn't work. There's no known information of what would happen if a tourist was caught smoking a bowl, but it's extremely unlikely that a tour company would abandon their guest in Antarctica or have them arrested over a little self-medication.
Hold on, is that even a possibility that the tour company would abandon someone in Antarctica for smoking weed? Because it just implied that it was. I mean, even if it's a 0.0000001% chance of happening, that's a death sentence.
A non-zero possibility. And unless a penguin figures out how to snitch, you probably won't get caught sucking on a vape pen.
See, nuke the penguins, so you don't have to worry about whether or not they can snitch.
You just have to worry about a lot of other things, Arya.
I'm going to beat that nuke the penguins thing into the ground.
So now it goes into some more practical advice. The answer to the legality question may be a little murky, but the main thing is to be discreet. The answer to how to obtain marijuana in Antarctica is surprisingly a little more straightforward if you plan on it. In 1981, the New York Times reported on a story wherein New Zealand got pissy about packages containing drugs being sent through their territory from the United States to McMurdo Station, the largest research community on the continent. The U.S. was surprisingly chill about the whole thing, cooperating unenthusiastically with customs searches. Although Selby has not been to Antarctica, his research was focused on cannabis growth in the polar climate, and he has worked with scientists who got high in Antarctica. Quote, in the days before vape pens, it depended on the amount of flour people found safe to smuggle over, Selby says. Then it was normally pipes made out of apples and hitting tobacco smokers up for papers. Nowadays, you get an assortment of vape pens and live resin carts that are easy to zip into your luggage. They've made life much easier. Even though carving out an apple brings back the nostalgia of teenage years, long-term Antarctica residents aren't just getting high for the fun of it. It can be essential to survival. Quote, most of the cannabis used in these areas is for pain relief and sleeping, Selby explains. Working 12 to 16-hour days can hurt. The sun never goes down during the working season. You can get blackout curtains and hide in tents, but your body never really adjusts to 24 hours of light, so you might need some help. And how bad is it really for the people determining how quickly our planet is dying of climate change to get help from a little bud? Selby has an idea for an alternative to packing enough resin to last the winter and risking an extra thorough customs search. Quote, any cannabis grown successfully in polar regions would be in a greenhouse or indoor setup where lighting can be controlled. I would hope one day, as ideas change, that a small garden with a few medical use plants would be available to people in these areas. At minus 40 degrees in the winter, a live plant can really help boost your mood.
Indeed, I'm sure it could. Well, this has been the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Join us again tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more of our frivolity, bad jokes, and the latest in the news in cryptocurrency, cannabis, and politics. But stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Free Talk Live is coming up next in just a few minutes.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day.